Hey besties, welcome back to another video. So today I have a special video for you all. If you've seen the title, I have a story time video for you all, and I just decided to share this because one of the things that I want to do on my channel is just kind of share my journey. And part of my journey is not just where I am in life right now, but my past is part of my journey as well. And I think knowing about somebody's past also allows you to understand who they are and why they are the way they are at this time. And part of my journey right now and things that I've been doing is just, why am I so cricket? Ugh. Yeah, hold on. Okay, I feel like I was twisted. Anyway, so I think part of my journey, some of the things that I've been doing, some of the work that I've been doing personally is kind of trying to analyze my past and figure out exactly why I am, how I am right now. Because my thought process, my mindset, the way that I am is, I consider it being weird because I see how everyone else interact and I'm like, oh my God, I could never interact like that with people. So I've been just trying to think back of my past and trying to figure out, you know, what can I do and how, like a little bit of therapy. Like, girl, sometimes you gotta let things go, and sometimes, you know, you gotta figure out why you think the way that you think. And I'm just trying to grow, I'm trying to elevate, you know. So this story time is how I found out that my boyfriend was cheating on me with my friend, or how my friend betrayed me, and how it resulted to me not trusting friends. So this goes back to when I was in high school. Back in high school, I was a braider. I braided hair. I was a hustler back then. Listen, I can't braid now because, you know, I'm afraid to get arthritis. But back in the days, I was just a hustler. Like, I'm going to figure out how to make my money. So I used to braid. Me and my sister, we used to do braids. And I had a client, which was also a friend that went to my school. She would come every 2 weeks. Her mom would drop her off and I would braid her hair. Eventually, we became close. We were at the same school. So we would walk home together and talk together, whatever. So while when she used to be at the house with me and I'll braid her hair, my boyfriend used to call me. We used to be on the phone and we're talking, caking or whatever. It was still called caking back in those days. So we used to cake on the phone and things like that. And so I would tell her about him. But she didn't really know him like that. She knew of him, but they weren't friends. I knew that for sure. So throughout time, eventually, you know, he'll walk me home or we'll be walking. So they started to, you know, speak with one another and just kind of basic hi and bye, whatever. But I don't think they were ever really close like that. She was a tomboy. He was, you know, he was him, but she was a tomboyish, really tomboyish, dressed like a tomboy. Like, you've never seen her in a dress. She just was doing her thing. So I remember, so I didn't grow up in a strict household. Well, my dad was very strict, but my mom and my dad divorced sometime while I was in the middle school, high school. So my mom was a little bit more lenient, but not lenient to the point where I could be wild in the streets. But my mom was more so, I'm gonna give you a little freedom, but I'm also gonna be right behind you to follow up. So my mom would take us to parties, drop us off. My mom would get dressed, walk in the party to kind of figure out, peep out the scene, make sure it's safe, and then let us go and tell us to just call her whenever we're ready to go home. All right, y'all, you have to bear with me. Brief intermission because I would really like to give a little background regarding the story before I actually get deep into it. So me and this guy, my boyfriend, we are actually together for about a year. Prior to this, now things were definitely rocky. You know, when you're young, you're figuring out life, figuring out things, and you're not so really in tune with your intuition at the time. But I can say that back in high school during this time, I did have one class with him, and I would normally it was by the locker room. I think it was like a health class, or I forgot. We had one course together for sure, and so I would catch him by the vending machine with her. But every time I would walk by, they would kind of like just disperse and start to walk away from one another. So what I was asking him, like, what y'all talking about? He was like, oh, nothing, da-da-da, whatever. So I just figured, you know, I wasn't the jealous type. I just figured, okay, they were talking. But it was just suspicious how they would always disperse whenever I came around. They would never really continue their conversation, and he would just act weird. But still, yet, I never said anything to her, and I didn't really make it a big deal with him. I kind of just let it go on for as long as it did. On to the story now. So there was this party at the National Guard once, and my mom, previously to that, I had her talk to my boyfriend's older brother so that she, because my mom wasn't gonna let me ride with anybody unless she knew. So I had her call him, and they were talking or whatever, and I'm like, that's who's gonna pick us up or take us to the party, because he was giving us a ride. So she was like, cool. So we ended up riding with him. He was a DJ, and we ended up riding with him in the back of his van. while we're riding with him in the back of his van, my boyfriend was also riding with us, and I think my sister and my friend was with us as well. So we rode in the back of the van. We were all just sitting back there, whatever. We get to the party, and we was cool at the party, whatever. Something, I think they ended up fighting at the party and we ended up leaving. But when I left, I was riding back with the brother, but I couldn't find the brother's van. He was packing up or whatever. I needed to call my boyfriend. My phone was dead. My phone was dead. My phone was dead. So I was with my friend. Everybody just kind of chilling outside. I was like, girl, let me use your phone. I knew his number by head. And so I dialed his number on my phone. I dialed his number on her phone. And when I dialed the number, it came up as my boo, my bae, something like that on there. Y'all, I flipped out, okay? When I told you I flipped out, I kind of looked at it and I was like, but I'm not one that react right away because I kind of got to know what's going on. I freeze. I just don't react that way. So I dialed the number and he answered. I'm like shocked, but the phone rang and he actually answered. And when he answered, I started doing this weird voice, and then I hung up the phone. He eventually found me. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't say anything to him. He found me, we left. I don't know why I reacted like that, because now at this age, if that would have happened, I know for a fact I would have flipped out. I would have flipped out. It would have been done for her, done for him. But back, I don't know why, I just did not react. So we get in the van, I'm not reacting to him. I'm like really standoffish, like don't touch me, don't talk to me. But I'm not telling him exactly what he did, exactly why I'm upset, but I'm not friendly with him at all at that point.
Another brief intermission. Sorry guys, I didn't realize, after watching the recording, I realized that I didn't give as much detail as I would like. But regarding her, honestly, after I saw the number on the phone, I kind of just give her this look. She did realize what had happened, because she took the phone from me. I think at the spur of the moment when she gave me the phone, she didn't think of the fact that I would dial the number and his name would come up. So when she got the phone back, she looked at it and I don't know if she pressed play, but she noticed it and she kind of just looked at me. I looked at her and I walked away. I did not say anything to her. We did not have an argument about it. I don't know, for whatever reason, at that moment, and back then I wasn't confrontational at all. I did not want to have this. I avoided certain conversations. I'm one of those people. At that moment, there wasn't anything that she could say to me to change my mind about how I would feel about her. There wasn't anything that she can say to clarify the situation. So I don't have the brain power to sit there and have useless conversations with you. So once I already have the facts. The facts are in my hand. I dialed my boyfriend's number. It comes up as my boo, my bae on the phone, on your phone, meaning there's a reason why it's there. I don't put my friend, my homeboy, random person I know number as my boo, my bae. So there was nothing that needed to be hashed out or needed to spoke with. And honestly, I have not said a word to her. We have not spoken since that day. We were not friends. I never braided her hair again, and we kind of just left it at that. I haven't seen her, I think probably after high school. If I've seen her once, maybe. If not, I have never seen her since then. And so I kind of just left it at that with her. Back to the story.
So then like a couple of days go by. Within that week, we're in front of the high school, and his brothers were older, and they had other people from another school that used to come out there, and we're standing out there, whatever. And I'm still upset at him. And then they were talking, and I'm still upset. He's trying to figure out why I'm mad. So I started doing that voice again, and he looked at me and he was like, and he started laughing. He's like, nah, come on. And I'm like, no, come on what? Come on what? And then he's like, no, he's trying to tell me, nah, she ain't nobody, you know, she just somebody, you know, whatever. Nobody I'm taking serious right now. I'm like, nobody you taking serious right now? She saved your name under Boo Bae on her phone. What do you mean nobody taking serious right now? I said, I don't have my homeboy friend's number saved under Boo Bae on my phone. Or whatever. So he was like, nah, that's not nobody serious, that or whatever. I honestly, to this day, have never said anything to her. And I know she knew, because she never came back and said anything to me. I never braided her hair from that day on. She never looked at me. We never had a conversation about it. I'm telling you, till this day, man, this girl have never been friends. We have never been friends. We have not discussed what took place. And I just never felt comfortable with it. Thinking back on it, it's one of those things where I feel like I've been scarred, because it's almost like I can't allow someone to get too close. And I feel like if I do, it's almost like you're going to burn me. And females just can't be trusted. Like women just, and not all women, but some women just cannot be trusted. Because I have some female friends where you can talk to them, tell them your business or whatever, but that's just not the only thing. I remember like back in high school, it was just really catty, and it was just this one relationship that I was in. It was so many girls that was just doing sneaky stuff, and that dude was just really sneaky and had no loyalty at all. Because there's another girl with a whole nother event, and the thing about me is, and I always tell people, I never go snooping around for information, but Lord, it's like God like has this special thing around me where the information always comes to me. Always. I can tell y'all a million stories about how I never snooped around, I never went looking for things, and information just come to me, and I just have to make a final decision. I'm glad that I handled it the way I did, because it just wasn't worth it. Like, thinking back on it, like, it wasn't worth it at all. It wasn't worth having a conversation with her. It wasn't worth having a conversation with him, and honestly, I have no communications with him at all. I can't even tell y'all how he looks. I do not have him on social media. We do not run into each other. I believe a couple years after high school, we did run into each other at the club. That's back in the days when I used to go to the club. I did run into him there or whatever, and he tried to talk to me, but I was standoffish again, because I'm one of those people, once I'm done with you, I'm done, right? So I wasn't really talking to him or whatever, but with her, she's dead. She's dead. She's dead to me. She's dead to me. Because at the end of the day, you were like up under me. I told you my business. We were talking. You was acting like you was my best friend at the time. And then you went back and did some slimy stuff like that. No. And I would have never known. Like, if that event didn't happen that day, I would have never, ever, ever known. So I always go back to my mind. I'm starting to think, like, is that why I have an issue trusting females? Like, trusting friends? Like, it's a reason. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, I need to let that go, because I'm not mad at her and I'm not upset at him, because, you know, things that happen in the base, things that happen in the day, it's lessons that you learn from it, but you can't really hold her. What is that? Hold her. You can't really hold or harvest that in your heart. So I'm glad that I experienced that. But I did see, every so often I end up seeing the meme that says, what would you do if you dialed your boyfriend or your girlfriend's number on your friend's phone and it came up saved under a certain name? What would you do? So that's what I did at the time. I did not react. I did not do anything at all. I kind of just let it go. We did end up eventually breaking up with the guy, because he was trifling as trifling gets. He is still trifling based on stories that I hear, that I used to hear. Actually, I haven't heard anything in years, but back what I used to hear about him, he's trifling now. And that's one of the things I remember when I broke up with him. Thank God for my mother. I remember telling mom I was so hurt. I remember when he had his first baby. He had his first baby way before me. And I was so hurt, because I was still cool with his family. His mother and brother invited me to the baby shower. And I was like, I'm not going, because I know his current girlfriend hated me. But then my mom told me at the time, she was like, you never know why God, you know, caused y'all to break up. And she's like, she said, you know, he's her problem now and no longer yours. You just, one day you're going to thank God that it's no longer your issue. And at that time, I wasn't trying to hit her. I'm like, you know, whatever. But now I'm just grateful, because baby. So it's just, you know, it's growing pains, man. Growing pains. So yeah, I did dial my boyfriend's number on my friend's phone, and it came up as Boo Bae. So my friend and my boyfriend was together. They was in a whole entire relationship, okay? Entire relationship. But yeah, so that's the story time. I'm not hurt about it anymore. I'm over it. But yeah. That's the first experience when I realized that dudes are trifling, chicks are trifling, and you can't trust nobody. It's probably why I still got trust issues to this day, but I can tell y'all again 101 stories about what took place in my life. But yeah, guys, so that is my story time. Y'all gotta be careful about who you're around. What I learned in that story is, you know, you can't tell your friends all of your business, especially things that'll make them want your man. Like, some things you just got to keep to yourself, because it's almost like you found somebody that has these special attributes and features that another woman may be looking into, and they start to become attractive to that person. And if they're not humble and within who they are, or not secure within who they are, they're gonna go seeking for comfort or seek attention from that person. And if you're not with the right person that knows how to respect you and to honor you and to show you that loyalty, he is going to bounce and go and experience that in there and become intrigued in that person. So then you have a problem on your hands. So you gotta be careful what you tell your friends, girl. You can't tell your friends everything. Trust me. Keep stuff to yourself. Single, married, dating, whatever your life is. But again, that's an old story time. Happened back in high school. And yeah, I'm over it now. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below. Shout out to my trifling friend back in the day. Shout out to my old babe back in the day. I hope y'all living y'all life. Things are great for you all because it's beautiful over here. The grass is always greener on this side of town, sweetheart. Catch y'all later. Bye.